Hello friends, welcome to the session today. I'm Soni, your trainer for this session. Do you remember what we did in the previous session? Yes, we did future tense and two forms of future tense. We covered simple future and future perfect form. Today, we'll continue with the other two forms of future tense. We'll talk about the future continuous and the future perfect continuous. But before we move on with these two forms, let's do a revision of what we did in the previous session. In the previous session, we had learned what is future tense. तो क्या होता है future tense? जब आप आने वाले कल के बारे में बात करो. आज की बात नहीं, आने वाले कल की बात. That is, you're talking about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, etc. That is what you mean by future tense. Now, the two forms of future tense that we've already discussed are simple future and future perfect. In simple future, the verb formation involves adding a will or a shall with the first form of the verb. For example, I will study tomorrow. What does this sentence mean? मैं कल पढ़ूंगी. गी जहाँ पे आ गया, पढ़ूंगी, it means अभी वो action हुआ नहीं है और ना हो चुका है. It will happen in future. आगे जाके होगा. Future tense either denotes your imagination or tells about what you've planned. Next, we have talked about the future perfect tense. Now, whenever the word perfect comes in the verb formation, you need to add a have. For example, I will have studied this chapter by the time you arrive. Now, one thing you need to notice is that have is attached because you're referring to the perfect tense. And because it is the future tense, you use the third form of the verb. That is, instead of study, you say studied. So remember, for simple future, we use the first form of the verb, and for future perfect, we use the good, third form of the verb. So now we've revised the simple future and the future perfect tense that we did earlier. Today is the time for the other two forms. Let me tell you about the aims and objectives of the program today. Today we'll talk about future continuous tense. Like we've discussed for all the other forms, we'll discuss the verb formation in case of future continuous tense. We'll also discuss certain examples so that you do not face any problem as far as this form is concerned. Then we'll move on to see how we can use the future continuous tense in case of positive, negative and interrogative sentences. That is, अगर कोई चीज़ आपने affirmative या positive way में बोलनी है या negative way में बोलनी है या कोई question पूछना है, then how can you use the future continuous tense for it? And as usual, we have an exercise for you, an interesting one again. Now, once we are through with the future continuous tense, we'll move to the future perfect continuous, the last form of future tense. We'll discuss its verb formation with lot of examples, and then we'll discuss the positive, negative and interrogative sentences. Towards the end of the session, we have an exercise. So let's start with the session today and let's see what do we understand by future continuous tense. The word continuous means, मैं आपको कितनी बार बता चुकी हूँ, अब तक हम दो टेंसेस कर चुके हैं, उन दोनों के कंटिन्यूस फॉर्म भी किए हैं. तो मुझे बताओ आप, कंटिन्यूस का क्या मतलब होता है? Good. जो चीज लगातार हो रही है या चल रही है. So what do you mean by future continuous? It means an action that continues at a point in the future. Just remember this, that for present continuous, it is an action that is going on right now. For past continuous, it is an action that was going on in the past. And for future continuous, it is an action that will be going on in the future. ये बहुत ही आसान फॉर्म है और तीनों का डिफरेंशिएशन भी आप समझ लो. Let's discuss the use of the future continuous tense. When do you use this tense? Under what situations? Future continuous tense is used to talk about actions in progress at a point in the future. कोई actions चल रहे हैं future में, अभी नहीं but future में वो चल रहे हैं. For example, I will be sleeping on Sunday. Now today it's not Sunday. You're talking about a day which will come in future. What will you do that day? You will be sleeping. Will be sleeping. The word or the phrase denotes a continuous form of future tense. I hope you remember that in case of continuous form of any tense, you need to attach an ing to the verb ing, like sleeping, studying, reading, dancing, walking, etc. कुछ टिप्स आप अपनी नोटबुक के एंड में लिख लो जो कि हर टेंस के लिए कॉमन है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, in case of continuous, you always attach an ing. In case of perfect, you use a has, have or had depending on the tense. These tips will help you and you will not get confused as far as the different forms of tenses are concerned. Next, the future continuous tense is also used for actions in the future which are already planned or expected to happen in the normal course of things. Now I told you future tense depends on your planning or imagination. या तो आपने सोच रखा है या आप इमेजिन कर रहे हो, ख्याली पुलाव बना रहे हो कि ये चीज होगी. ठीक है, तो these actions happen in future. Now future continuous tense is used for actions which are already planned to happen or are expected to happen. उम्मीद है आपको कि ये एक्शन आगे जाके होगा ही. For example, I will be waiting for you at the bus stop tomorrow. That means कल आप अपने फ्रेंड के लिए बस स्टॉप पे वेट कर रहे होंगे. कर रहे होंगे means a continuous form. Now let's talk about the verb formation in case of future continuous tense. In case of future continuous tense, you use the words will be followed by the verb, and don't forget to attach an ing with the verb. That is the verb plus ing. For example, every student will be running tomorrow. Will be is always there in case of verb formation for future continuous, and run के साथ आपने ing लगाया है to make it continuous. Every student will be running tomorrow. It is planned that all the students or every student has to run tomorrow. So will be running makes it future continuous. Let's see another example. They will be talking to each other tomorrow. They are not talking right now. They were not talking, but they will be talking. They will be talking to each other tomorrow. The phrase will be talking tells you that this action will occur in future and it will be a continuous action because the verb has an ing attached to it. Let's see one more example. The sun will be shining tomorrow. The sun will be shining tomorrow. Again, it's a simple example denoting the future continuous tense. I will be playing a computer game tomorrow. You have planned that today you'll study and tomorrow you'll play a computer game. He will be singing tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow he's taken part in a concert or in a competition and he has to sing. So he will be singing tomorrow. Now you remember, and if you notice, that in all these examples, these actions are either planned, कि ये होंगे ही, or you expect that they will happen. And this is what we mean by future tense. Let's see more examples and you try to figure out where have we used the future continuous tense. Ajay will be climbing the Himalayas next week. This is an action that has been planned by Ajay, that he will go and he will be climbing in the Himalayas. Next, the weather report says that it will be raining when we arrive in London. Now, weather report is based on prediction. That is what is future tense based on. That is why, in order to predict the weather, we have used the future continuous tense. You cannot use the past tense in order to predict something. क्योंकि prediction का मतलब ही ये होता है कि आगे की भविष्यवाणी करना. And भविष्य means future. Another example. Will you be visiting your uncle in Tripura? That means, क्या तुम अपने अंकल से मिलने जाओगे in Tripura? So you are asking a question that will you go or will you be visiting? It is a question framed in a future continuous way. Now we've discussed a lot of examples. Let's do a little exercise now. In this exercise, you are required to fill in the blanks using the future continuous form of the verb. I'll give you a verb and use its future continuous form in order to complete the sentence. Let's start with the exercise. He dash to school at 9 a.m. tomorrow. He dash to school at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The verb is walk. Remember, when you say tomorrow, it means future. अगर मैं आपको यहाँ पे ना भी बताती कि आपने future tense use करना है, तब भी अगर आप sentence read करो, tomorrow will tell you that you have to use future tense. You cannot use present or past tense in this case. Next question. Sita dash on her thesis for the next 10 years. Sita dash on her thesis for the next 10 years. The verb is work. Next. Next year, Rani dash art in college. Next year, Rani dash art in college. The verb is study. And the last question. I dash for you at the entrance at 1:15. I dash for you at the entrance at 1:15. The verb is wait. Now out here you need to keep two things in mind. First, use the future tense, and second, because it is continuous, don't forget to attach an ing with the verb. I hope you filled in all the blanks. Even if they are wrong, don't worry, because until unless you make mistakes, how will you learn? You learn from your mistakes. अपनी गलतियों से ही सीखते हैं हम. Let's check the answers now. First, he dashed to school at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The verb given was walk. Future continuous use करना था आपने. Future के लिए will be, continuous के लिए walking. So he will be walking to school at 9 a.m. tomorrow. जिन जिनका ठीक हुआ है वो टिक लगा दो, और जिनका गलत हुआ है वो ठीक वाला आंसर नोट कर लो. Next, Sita dashed on her thesis for the next 10 years. You had to use work, so it becomes Sita will be working on her thesis for the next 10 years. Okay? बाकी सारे भी आसान हैं. अगर एक ढंग से कर लो तो आगे के सारे पता चल जाते हैं. Next one. Next year, Rani dash art in college. Verb was study, so it becomes next year Rani will be studying. Good. And the last one. I dash for you at the entrance at 1:15. Verb was wait, so it's a simple one again. I will be waiting. I will be waiting for you at the entrance at 1:15. So this exercise was very simple, and I hope कि अगर आपको एक समझ आ गया तो सारे पता चल गए होंगे. Now let's discuss that how can we use the future continuous tense to express positive statements. Positive statements mean you're sure of something or you're positive about something. Let's take an example. Tomorrow at this time, I will be studying at school. Now remember that it is a positive statement, so don't use not. जैसे ही आपने not use करा, it becomes a negative statement. Now what do you mean by this statement? Tomorrow at this time, I will be studying at school. Now every day at this time, you go to school and you study there. So you are sure of this thing or you're positive about it. Another example. I will be watching TV when my mother arrives. Both the examples tell you about a positive action or an action that is bound to happen. Similarly, you can also use the future continuous tense to denote questions or interrogative sentences. Example. Will she be cooking when we knock at the door? Will she be cooking when we knock at the door? Question mark. Will makes it future and cooking makes it continuous. So in all, the question becomes in future continuous form. Another example. Will Manoj be playing football at 6 p.m.? ये आप पूछ रहे हो कि क्या मनोज 6 बजे फुटबॉल खेल रहा होगा? It is a simple question expressed in future continuous. Another one. Will I be getting admission to a good college? Again, this is also a question and it is in the future continuous form. So हमने positive statements कर ली, हमने questions कर लिए, बचा क्या? Yes, negative statements. Now let's move on to negative sentences. Negative means जहाँ पे कुछ नहीं हो रहा या negativity आ जाती है. Let's take an example. We won't be having supper tomorrow before 8 o'clock. Maybe every day you have supper before 8 o'clock, but what are your plans for tomorrow? कि कल नहीं लेंगे. So won't be having. कल हम supper 8 बजे से पहले नहीं खाएंगे और नहीं लेंगे. Won't tells you about the negativity of the statement. The moment you read the statement, you can come to know that this thing will not happen. Let's take another example. Tomorrow at 9, I won't be hosing off my car. That means at 9, usually you hose off your car every day, but tomorrow you have some other work to do. So you won't be hosing. So this was about future continuous tense, which talks about actions that will go on in future. Future tense talks about your imagination, a prediction, or your plan. Now it's an exercise time for you where you're supposed to fill in the blanks with verbs in their future continuous form. इतनी एक्सरसाइजेस करने के बाद तो मुझे पक्का है कि आप लोगों को फ्यूचर कंटिन्यूअस या किसी भी टेंस में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी. ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द एक्सरसाइज. द नेम ऑफ द एक्सरसाइज इज द पार्टी. नाउ इन दिस एक्सरसाइज fill in the blanks with the future continuous tense of the verb given in brackets. I'll read out the passage to you. When I arrive at the party, everybody dash. Verb is celebrate. Some dash. Verb is dance. Others dash. Verb is talk. A few people dash. The verb here is eat pizza. And several people dash juice or coke. The verb is drink. They always do the same thing. So this has shown you the scene at a party. What are different people doing? Someone is just enjoying himself, someone is dancing, someone is talking, someone is drinking. Different people doing different things. Let me read out the exercise once for you. This time I will not mention the verb. Everything is there in your workbook. I'll just read out the blanks for you once more. When I arrive at the party, everybody dash. Some dash. Others dash. A few people dash. And several people dash juice or coke. They always do the same thing. Now use the verbs in the future continuous form. Please do not use them in past or present form. Right now we are talking about the future continuous tense. So verb के future continuous tense को blanks में भरना है. Do it quickly and then we'll discuss the solution. Ready? Okay, let's move on to the answers. When I arrive at the party, everybody is going to be celebrating. Is going to be celebrating tells you वो celebrate कर रहे होंगे. Now if I say when I arrive at the party everyone is celebrating, it becomes a present situation. Is celebrating your present continuous tense. But because I had asked you to fill in the blanks with future continuous tense, that is the reason you need to use is going to be celebrating. Then some will be dancing, others will be talking. So कुछ लोग डांस कर रहे होंगे, others will be talking. A few people will be eating pizza and several people will be drinking juice or coke. They always do the same thing. So all the blanks were filled by future continuous form of the verb. I hope you've done the exercise religiously, and if you've got any of the answers incorrect, don't worry, just correct it right now and go through it once again when you go home. Another question based on the exercise. No, don't worry, in this question you don't have to tell about the tense. It's a general question. Now in the exercise you had a line saying they always do the same thing. This is what the speaker says. Now, based on this line, you tell me that is the speaker looking forward to the party he will be attending? Now, what do you mean by looking forward? आगे देखना, that does not mean literally आगे देखना. It means, is he eagerly waiting for the party? क्या वो उत्सुकता से उस पार्टी की वेट कर रहा है? Read that line and try and understand the mentality or the emotions of the speaker. They always do the same thing. The two options that you have are, yes, he is. It's going to be a nice change from his daily routine. That means, yes, he's looking forward to the party. Or, no, he isn't. The parties he attends have become a boring routine. What do you think? Is he eagerly waiting or is he not eagerly waiting? He thinks हर जगह एक ही काम होता है. Which option is correct? Good. It is the second option. No, he isn't. The parties he attends have become a boring routine. Because before attending the party, he can tell you what is going to happen. The same thing happens in all the parties. It is a boring routine for him, and so he's not eagerly waiting for it. Now, this was about a planned party. What do you understand when I say a surprise party? Surprise का क्या मतलब होता है? जो चीज़ आपने सोची ना हो and it happens. It's a surprise gift, a surprise party, a surprise picnic. Anything could be a surprise for you if you do not know about it or you have not planned it. Now, the party we have just talked about was not at all a surprise party. It was a planned party. The speaker was aware of all the activities that will take place in the party. But now, the party I'm going to talk about is a surprise party. It's a surprise for everyone. I'll just read out the passage and then I'll let you know what I mean. I will be throwing a surprise party next week. People will have been expecting the same old thing, music and pizzas. Picture them when they walk into the setting of a roadside eating joint. Now, this is a person who has planned to throw a surprise party and he knows that what generally people expect. The same drinking juice, talking to others, dancing. So this is something which is happening in all the parties and he's aware of it. But this time he'll be throwing a surprise party into the setting of a roadside eating joint. If you read the first line of the passage, it says, I will be throwing. Will be throwing, which tense? Good, future continuous, and we've done it. But the next line, people will have been expecting. Where has this have been come from? It is not future continuous. It is the next form of tense that we are going to talk about. It is your future perfect continuous tense. So let's start with the future perfect continuous tense. The action which begins before a point in the future continues at that point and goes on past it. A long definition? Not a problem. I'll make you understand it in an easy way. The action which begins before a point in the future. Suppose this is your point and it is in the future. आगे आने वाला है. The action has to begin before the point. इससे पहले action शुरू हो चुका है. It continues at that point. यहाँ तक आ गया. And goes on past it. And इसे cross कर जाता है. So an action which begins before a point in the future continues at that point and goes on past it. Such an action can be expressed in your future perfect continuous form. Remember this example and you'll always remember the definition and the meaning of future perfect continuous. Let us see where all can we use the future perfect continuous tense. This tense is used for actions which will be in progress over a period of time that will end in the future. Now these actions are going on, they will keep on going on in the future, and when will they end? They will also end in the future. It is used for actions which will be in progress over a period of time that will end in the future. That means those actions are going on, they will be in progress, they will stay in progress and will end in future. Now we know that the future perfect continuous tense is used for actions that will be in progress over a period of time that will end in future. So by next month, mother will have been teaching for 20 years. That means next month mother को 20 years हो जाएंगे पढ़ाते हुए, and she will continue after that. Let's see the verb formation in case of future perfect continuous tense. In this tense, we use the words will have been followed by the verb with the ing. Remember, continuous है तो ing तो लगेगा ही. So you use will have been plus verb and an ing attached to the verb. Let me give you an example. At 8 o'clock tomorrow, we will have been walking to school. At 8 o'clock tomorrow means a future tense. आने वाला कल. Will have been walking. This is what is the verb formation. Will have been walking, walk with ing. This is how you form sentences in future perfect continuous tense. Let me repeat the sentence for you. At 8 o'clock tomorrow, we will have been walking to school. कल 8 बजे हम लोग स्कूल जा रहे होंगे या स्कूल के लिए जा रहे होंगे. This is what we mean. Let's see some more examples. In the fall, I will have been studying here for 2 years. मतलब मुझे 2 साल यहाँ पढ़ते हुए हो जाएंगे. The words will have been studying represent your future perfect continuous form. Next, my sister will have been teaching for 10 years next month. That means next month मेरी sister को 10 साल हो जाएंगे पढ़ाते हुए. Alright, so if you want to depict an action that is continuing in the future, you can use your future perfect continuous tense. And such an action will always end in the future. Let's see another example. The teacher will have been teaching us for 5 years next month. It's a similar example. Let's see one more example. Tanu will be very tired when she comes home because she will have been traveling for over 24 hours. That means for more than 24 hours she's been traveling. This is what we mean. So now do you get an idea when and how to use future perfect continuous tense? You do? Good. Now let me give you examples of positive sentences. Then we'll talk about negative and questions that can be expressed in future perfect continuous tense. तो चलिए पहले हम positive sentences से शुरू करते हैं. An example of a positive sentence: we fear that robots will have been taking over the world in the future. It is the theme of the famous film Terminator. Have you all seen this movie? नहीं? आप English movies देखते ही नहीं हो, मुझे ऐसा लगता है. Bad, that's very bad. Because only books will not help you learn English. You need to talk in English. You should watch English channels, English movies. समझ अगर नहीं आ रहे हैं तो भी देखते रहो. Because एक दिन ऐसा आएगा when you will start understanding. But अगर शुरुआत ही नहीं करोगे तो वो दिन आएगा ही कब? Alright? So start with simple movies, maybe cartoon movies, animations, anything, and gradually move on to complex ones. But shuru kar lo. This is the right time and stage for you. Now let's move back to the sentence. We fear that robots. Now the spelling is R-O-B-O-T-S. पर robots नहीं बोलना है. जो bot में T है, that is silent. So robots. Just omit the T while saying the word. Will have been taking over. Now this is where we come to our future perfect continuous tense. Will have been. I told you, in case of future perfect continuous, the words will have been are used plus the verb with the ing, and the verb is taking. Take plus ing makes it taking. So this is a positive sentence, and we see how we have used the future perfect continuous tense in order to express the meaning and to bring out the message in the sentence. This was the positive one. Now let's move on to the negative sentence. Negative means कुछ नहीं हो रहा या नहीं होगा. That is what we mean by negative. Man is the most intelligent of living beings. We all admit that. Therefore, Terminator is only a silly film. Robots will not have been taking over the world in the future. Now the same sentence has been expressed in a negative way. The same movie we are talking about. अब जब तक आप मूवी देखोगे नहीं, you will not understand कि ये मतलब क्या है इस sentence का. But if you see the literal meaning of the sentence, robots will not have been taking over the world in the future. We believe that as compared to robots, man is more intelligent. In fact, man is the most intelligent creation of God. In order to bring out the negativity of the sentence, we have used the term not. Will not have been taking. This represents your future perfect continuous tense. Try and make simple sentences using future perfect continuous, and try and convert positive sentences into negative ones. This is how you learn to form new sentences. Have you seen Terminator? Do you think that robots will have been taking over the world in the future? The same sentence, the same meaning, but this time in the form of a question. Now we've learned how we can frame positive, negative, and interrogative sentences using future perfect continuous tense. This was one example being molded in different ways. Go home and try more sentences, some simple sentences, and try and use all the different forms of tenses we've learned so far. Now let's move on to an exercise, a small and an easy exercise. The title of the exercise is At This Time Next Week. Next week. Why next week? Because session future tense पे है इसलिए. Okay? Let's start with the fill in the blank exercise. Ritu dash to swim. The verb is learn. Next, Akshay dash in a seminar on communication and personality development. The verb is participate. You need to fill in these blanks with the future perfect continuous form of the verb. Next, Anjali dash her cousin's wedding. The verb is attend. Use the future perfect continuous form of the verbs given in brackets. Let's move on to the solutions now. First, Ritu के बाद क्या है? Will have been learning. Will have been learning. Will have been, it's a future perfect tense, and ing for the continuous part. Next, Akshay will have been participating in a seminar on communication and personality development. Next one, Anjali will have been attending her cousin's wedding. It's a very simple exercise. हर एक में same चीज़ हो रही है, just the verb is different. In the first case, it's learning, then participating, then attending, right? So all the exercises are very easy provided you understand the concept. अगर concept और verb formation समझ आ जाए तो सारे fill in the blanks बहुत easy होते हैं. Even if you do one, you will be in a position to do the rest. But if you do not understand the concept, if you do not know how to form the verb for a particular tense, it will be very difficult and you'll just have to guess instead of understanding. So this was a session on future continuous and future perfect continuous tense. So I hope you enjoyed the session today and don't forget to practice when you go home. Until next time, bye-bye.